Okay, this is going to be the start of a series of videos where I talk about the sorts of blades, knives and tools that I recommend and advocate that you need out there. Bearing in mind, you're not going to carry all these every single time, but it's just a comprehensive list of all the tools, and we'll talk afterwards. I'll do a further video where I talk about in what situations you need these tools. Okay, what I'm going to do is start with the top two tools, number 1 and number 2 on my list. And that's basically it. Number 1 is going to be a machete. In previous videos, whenever I talk about a machete, it's got to be a solid, heavy-duty machete, like the one I talk about in previous videos, this M1, 500 grams, single piece of steel. It's not going to break, it's not going to bend. It's going to do the one thing that a machete has to do for you all day, every day, and that's chop. It's got to chop all day, every day. And that's what that can do. So when I talk about a machete, I'm not talking about any you can buy out there, as long as it's a good, equivalent, heavy-duty machete. And number 2 is a small axe. And bearing in mind, I'm talking about camping style scenarios where you're carrying your tools, because arguably a full-sized axe is still the number 1 king of tools for its sheer cutting power. But I'm talking about a camping scenario, so number 2 is just a small axe. I'm not talking about this particular one. This happens to be one that I bought here in Thailand. This is just to illustrate some sort of a good small axe or hatchet. And this small axe is still going to give you plenty of cutting power, two-handed action, plenty of axe head speed for cutting power. And that's why an axe, and especially a full-size axe, is such an effective cutting tool, because you've got that speed and that pendulum swing action two-handed, and you can get plenty of cutting power without much energy being expended, or soreness in the arms or stress in the arms. And the reason I include the axe here is because personally I prefer a machete, but people out there may prefer axes. That's fine. Not everyone likes machetes. In Europe, North America and so forth, people may prefer axes, and that's why I'm giving you a choice of the machete and the axe. I've got the axe. I'm a bit biased. Being here in Thailand, you really understand why machetes are so good. I've still got a question mark about the axe handle breaking. I've broken axe handles in the past. If you hit things the wrong way, the axe heads can come off. So that's the negative drawback to an axe. You can repair them, sure, but as soon as you repair an axe, it can break again, or the axe head can come off again. But the solid machete is never going to break. You're never going to have that problem. You may get a bit more stress in the arm, because a machete is more an extension of your arm, so it's a bit more work to use a machete. You still get some swing and speed there, but it's more an extension of your arm. But the thing won't break. That's the whole idea, and that's why it beats the axe into number 1 as far as I'm concerned. But I've got a choice there. And like I said, you don't have to take all these tools. For example, the top 2 tools, you don't need to carry these at all times. If you did, for example, if you go out for half a day, you may not need either of these. But if you go out for 2 or 3 days, a big camping trip, either one or even both, then you're going to be laughing. And if you've got these 2 tools, or at least one of them, or even both, you're laughing. You're going to be doing all the heavy work out there. And the more experience you have, and the more knowledge you have and skill you have, potentially the less tools you can carry. That's a saying that's used out there, and it's very true. I can just take the machete and I'm okay. If I had both, I'm laughing. But then in the next videos, I'll talk about the next series of tools you can have, but that's number 1 and number 2, the machete and the small axe.